Is it much further?
We'll reach Sukdal shortly, if those woodcutters by the forest weren't making it up. They look pretty frightened.
Maybe they were just in awe of your beauty.
My, you've got a silver tongue, eh?
Not that I want to contradict, but I think there might be another reason. Sigismund is riding roughshod over the country, so the people are cautious. I can't blame them.
If it was only Sigismund. The devil is just as bad.
I thought we'd sorted all this out. He's no saint, not by any means. But he is an ally of the king, and my friend.
Who is?
The dry devil.
Lord Hinek of Kunstadt, Burgrave of Znojmo Castle, a great warrior, and at this moment a guest of the Lord of Sukdal.
He's a drunkard, and a dangerous, violent man.
I'll watch him, don't you worry.
Why do they call him the Dry Devil, anyway?
You can ask him yourself when you see him.
I don't know why he's dry, but I know exactly why they call him devil.
Can you give it a rest? I don't need you insulting him before I get a word in.
Great. So I'm to keep my mouth shut, eh?
Say what you like, just don't go bugging the devil. At least for a while. That's all I'm asking.
What is this Sukdal place we're heading to?
The fortress of Lord Pisek, Mint Master to King Wenceslas himself.
My word!
Where are you going? Lord
And will a man of his
see
stature see
He's
us?
got an important
We'll
visit.
find out soon enough. But I hope Dry Devil vouches for us.
And what's your plan after that? We have to save Sir Hans.
Don't worry, we'll get to that, if it's not too late.
Hopefully it won't be. He's a noble, so they'll ransom him.
I don't know. His uncle has a reputation for being a pinch purse. Do you know him, Henry?
I know him. And I think I know why they say what they do about him.
Oh, but that's all by the by anyway. I intend to wage war, not parley. And if I know Dry Devil, he's of the same mind.
Won't it be dangerous for Sir Hans?
It will, and for us too. But I'm sure Lord Capon is expecting that. He rode to Trosky as a messenger to von Berghoff. I reckon he must have had some idea what might happen.
Long last.
What's this? The gate's wide open.
Watered, fed, saddled, first thing. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Greetings. What's your business here?
The blessing of our Lord Jesus Christ, sir. I expect you're Peter Pisek. I am Jan Zizka of Trosnov. I have an important message for your guest, Hinek of Kunstadt. Actually, for you two.
A message for the Dry Devil.
Well now, Captain Zizka and young Henry.
Margrave Jobs.
Sir.
I'm afraid your friend Hinek is no longer here. But I'd love to know what brought you two together. But also, what the hell happened to you?
Well, sir...
Unfortunately, I'm otherwise occupied at the moment. Get some rest. You're clearly in dire need of it. We'll talk tomorrow. Sir Peter, please, take care of our guests.
Yes, sir.
Let's go!
He's all we needed.
You must be tired and hungry after your journey. Follow me.
You have a very fine fortress, my lord.
I'm glad you think so.
You don't?
To be honest, I'd much prefer to go back to cooking. Life in a fortress isn't ideal for a man with my experience.
And with your fortune.
That gets worryingly smaller every day, Lord Trosky.
Hardly surprising if you're putting up the Margrave here.
No, that's more down to his Hungarian cousin. If you get what I mean.
I should eat something.
Greetings, and with you.
Eat whatever takes your fancy, my friends. You look like you've had a hard journey.
The journey wasn't so bad, especially compared to what came before it.
Where are you coming from, anyway?
From Trosky.
That's Sir Otto von Burgo's domain. What were you doing there, pray tell?
We were in a castle cellar, talking to an old acquaintance.
My God, how did that happen?
Simple. I'm in the service of Lord Sokol of Lamberg, same as Dry Devil, and I had a job to do around Trosky, if you get my meaning.
Absolutely. But it wasn't much of a success, was it?
Actually, it was pretty much. We even took a castle.
Well, more like a small stronghold.
And we nearly got von Berghoff, too.
And what prevented you from completing that righteous deed?
Markvart von Aulis.
I know that name. He's the commander of the Prague militia.
Exactly. And they came with him.
But why would the Praguers send forces to Trosky?
But they didn't, sir. They weren't sent to Trosky, but here. They just stopped off to visit von Berghoff because he was in a tight situation, and they took him along with them.
Here? To my fortress? Christ almighty.
Not just here, but everywhere where King Wenceslas still has supporters.
And that's also one of the reasons why we're here. We came to warn you. It seems Sigismund's run out of patience. He's going to break the truce and finish off the rebellion while he still has time. So he's convened all his followers in Kuttenberg with von Berghoff and von Orlitz in the lead. It's just a matter of time before the battles begin.
We've got to secure the fortress quickly, stock up on supplies, reinforce the guard and drill the troops. But I'm grateful to you, friends. Wait here. I'll have the best wine I have brought to you. Bring that red from Burgundy right away.
You might want to save some for Jobst.
I'll gladly risk his displeasure for this occasion.
It seems we both have the same opinion of Jobst, eh?
Well, that is, I wouldn't dream of disrespecting the Margrave. Where do you know him from?
I don't really know him as such. We merely know each other due to my original trade.
Yes, I've heard of you. They say you used to be, well...
Yes, a bandit. It's no secret, sir. King Wenceslas even put a price on my head once. And Catherine here, she...
I'm sure that's of no interest to the noble gentleman. And anyway, if anyone knows Jobst well, it's Henry here. God bless. You two are quite on friendly terms, aren't you?
Well, we only met once, in fact. When he came to see Lord Hanush in Rattay.
Anyway, we're straying a little from the point. As I said, one of the reasons we came here is to warn you. And the other reason goes by the name of Hynek, the Dry Devil. Where is he?
Well, he was here for a while, at my invitation.
Was here? So he's gone?
Where did he go?
I couldn't say. He didn't part quite on the best of terms.
That's quite normal for him. Don't take it to heart, sir.
I had no issue with him. It's more about Margrave Jobst. When he met Hynek, he was somewhat disturbed.
Disturbed? Why?
Well, let's say, after an exchange of opinions, they agreed it would be best if they saw as little of each other as possible. I'm sure if you're interested in the details, the Margrave will explain it to you himself.
I'd be very surprised.
What was Dry Devil doing here, anyway?
Waging war, if you can call it that. He ambushed 3 of Sigismund's supply caravans and a troop of Cumans in these parts alone. It made me a little nervous. If anyone found out he was hiding out here, in the end, it was Jobst himself who sorted it out. He told Hynek he had to stop because he was interfering with his plans.
Why is Jobst taking such risks? He almost put himself in Sigismund's reach. What for?
To do what he's been doing all his life. Scheming.
One could put it that way. He's seeking allies amongst the undecided lords, and winning over to our side some of the ones who've sided with Sigismund so far.
He wants to make deals with turncoats?
Alas, that's the way it goes in politics. The majority lean towards the side where they expect the least problems. Just between us, I'm not too pleased myself about Jobst's strategy, and I'm the last one who'd wish for violence.
So, what about us? What do we do now?
The Margrave will certainly want to talk to you, but the earliest he'll be back at the fortress will be tomorrow. I hope until then, you won't refuse my offer of a bed for the night.
Just an offer. So you'd let us leave if we wanted to?
Well, the Margrave did ask me to look after you until he returns, for the sake of security.
Whose security?
Good question. Yours, I expect.
Ah, so be it. I couldn't take another step anyway.
God be with you, my friend.
Sir, there's still one more thing we came for. Lord von Berghoff is holding my lord, Sir Hans Capon of Perkstein, hostage. And we also have to warn Jobst's ally, John of Liechtenstein. Do you know anything about those two?
Sorry, I don't. I didn't even know von Bergau had come here until you told me. And I've heard nothing about Lord Liechtenstein.
Which is actually good news. If he'd been caught and executed, the word would be all over the region. So there's a strong hope he's alive.
Thank you for the warm welcome, Lord Pisek.
It's the least I could do, lad. My fortress is open to all the king's supporters, even if that does make it a bit crammed.
I suppose I ought to get to bed. Where can I sleep, sir?
I had some chambers prepared for all of you. Yours is right here in the palace. Cross that corridor and go up the stairs. You can't miss it. There's a garland above the door. But first, eat your fill, all of you. And maybe you'd like to bathe before going to bed. I told my servant Susanna to prepare baths for you. The baths are in the little house in the courtyard, right next to the well.
What happened at Nebakov after the Praguers took the fortress?
You're asking me?
Of course. I know you weren't there, but maybe you heard something. You know what goes on, right? I only remember that diabolical shot. Nothing after that.
That must have been really terrible. I heard the shot all the way from Troskowitz. I'm afraid all I know is when they took the fortress, Von Aulitz's men hanged everyone they found there. I'm sorry, but most of ours got left behind there.
Do you know if Michael, the adjutant, survived?
I'm afraid I do know. Zizka said the shot killed him on the spot.
Did you know him?
Aye. He was a good man. He saved my life once.
Oh, I didn't know that. Do you want to talk about it?
Not now, thanks. Some other time, maybe.
There was this healer called Clara there.
A girl of yours?
No, I don't know her well. But she was very kind to me. But I suppose now I'll never see her again.
Poor girl. May God forgive her sins and grant her eternal rest. You have to live every day like it's going to be your last. That's all you can do in our trade.
Thank you. That's all.
I'm sorry I can't tell you more.
No, that's all right. Thanks. What do you plan to do now?
What do you think? Have a proper meal and then go and lie down?
Oh. May I join you?
At least we'd only take up one of Lord Pisek's beds instead of two. But I'd like to get some rest. And I advise you to do the same. We have lots of work ahead of us.
Fuck me.
How are you?
Much better with hot food in my belly. But a pitcher of wine would be the best remedy.
Don't overdo it, though. Better to lose one eye than drink yourself blind. Any orders, Captain?
Now, eat and sleep. I'm not sure how long they'll treat us this well, so make the most of it.
I know we're in Sukdal, and that this fortress belongs to you, but I don't know anything else about it. Or about this area.
It's not exactly a royal castle, as you can see. You'll find dozens of such fortresses around Kuttenberg. As the town grew richer, many burghers wanted to climb the social ladder to join the nobility. They bought land and built fortresses. Kuttenberg is surrounded by plains, so they've been springing up like mushrooms after the rain.
I mean no discourtesy, but I've never heard of you, sir.
Fret not, I take no offense. I can tell you come from far away. Everyone here in the region knows me. I used to be the mint master. The king's official who oversees the Italian court, where the Prague Russian is minted out of Kuttenberg silver.
That sounds important.
Indeed it is. And that is why Sigismund stripped me of my office as soon as he took control of Kuttenberg.
I'm just getting started.
What can I do for you?
I'll have a look at your wares.
Happy to be of service, sir.
Lord Pisek said we could have a bath here?
Yes, sir. I prepared the hot water and fragrant oils myself. And I'll wash your clothes as well.
I could get used to this.
If sir will allow, I'll help you undress.
I know. Sorry. He's getting old and losing his wits. He's half blind, as good as dead. He takes drugs and
So you got your revenge? Father, did it make you feel any better? It did. So what comes next?
Mark von Aulitz is next. Then von Berghoff.
And is that what you really want, son? No matter how many people you kill, you can't change what's happened.
It's what I want.
Are you sure, Henry?
What's happening? Why are you waking me up? You again?
Yes, the Margrave is calling for you, sir. You and the other gent.
You mean Zizka?
I suppose. I don't know what his name is, but he's waiting down in the courtyard. I'm just on my way to tend to his wounds.
And what about Catherine?
That's the good wife who arrived with you? I don't know. I think I saw her with our captain.
Oh, very well. I'll go now.
Before you go, I brought you something for breakfast. In case you're hungry. Oh, have I been too bold?
No, definitely not. Thank you. Do you need anything else?
No, sir.
So, why are you standing here?
You haven't dismissed me, sir.
God be with you.
I'm not a nobleman. You don't have to stand on ceremony with me.
I do, since you're a guest of the Margrave, sir. May I leave?
I? That is... yes, of course.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, excuse me.
supposed to do then?
You should go and see the priest. Nobody else can help you.
Oh, aye, the priest. How could I have forgotten about him?
You see, meine Dame, we aren't idle here. My man trained like...
Lo, the worth Henry of Skalitz. I'm just holding a discussion with the captain here about his desolate fortress.
That's not how I'd put it. In the end, as mein Großvater said, the strength of a castle is measured by its garrison, and mine is one of the best in the region. What do you say, lad? Am I right?
Well, your grandfather was right. A castle with a weak garrison is no good for anything. But your men... I'd say the girls from our village would do a better job of defending the place.
What did you say, you bastard? Why don't you show us how it's done, then? Now that we have Großer Meister among us, we should make use of him, shouldn't we?
Sure, if it'd make you happy.
Show us what you're made of, my knight.
Come, Junge. We'll stuff your clothes with straw, so you don't come to any harm, and let you have a go against one of ours. Pullcock, come here! The first to bleed loses.
Fucking hell! No chance! Fuck! So, I went to see my brother.
Excellent, Henry.
It was nothing.
Gut gemacht. You have my admiration. You really are good with the sword. I hope my idiots learned a thing or two from you.
You should receive some kind of reward for that feat.
And what rewards would you have in mind?
I was rearranging our saddlebags, and I remembered I took a small memento from Trosky.
Oh. What is it?
A hunting crossbow. I even think it's von Berghoff's. I was meaning to sell it, but it might serve you better.
My word. Thank you. I better go and find Zizka. The Margrave is expecting us.
I saw Zizka next to the stables. There was some girl hanging around him.
Do you want to come with us to see Jobst?
Not really. I'll go and pack my things instead. I have a feeling we'll have to leave soon.
Why?
A woman's intuition.
Good
to see you.
How was your trip? The journey itself was great. No delays,
It's
nice
strange,
weather.
crooked, like a letter from a fancy book.
How are things, Captain?
What do you think? I've seen better days. And you, youngster?
Not so great. I'm feeling pretty battered.
Just wait until you've been through as much as I have.
Nah, don't say that. You still have your strength. A real man of iron.
A damned rusty one, I'd say. But enough chat. I see Jobst has returned to the fortress.
That's why I'm here. They're expecting us. I wanted to take Catherine along too, but she said she'd rather get the horses ready.
She's doing the right thing. And you better run ahead and greet the Margrave. I'll join you shortly.
Are you expecting trouble?
I always expect trouble. Jobst has turned coats more times than I can count. And the way things are these days, I'd rather have horses standing by, even on a visit to my parents.
What about that dry devil of yours? Did you find out where he went?
No, nobody asked him where he was going, but it seems they're hoping it's as far away as possible. I'm not surprised. If I know him, he wasn't the ideal guest.
At least Jobst might know where he is.
He might. To be honest, that's the only reason for talking to him.
Should I really go and see Jobst on my own? He's a Margrave, though.
So what? You already know him better than I do. You met him in Ratai. I only know what I've heard about him.
Well, all right, but he sent for us both. How's it gonna look?
A bit odd, I suppose. But you must understand, I'm doing this for our benefit. The less time I spend with a Margrave in one room, the better.
All right, then. I'll be going, then.
Brave Jäger. Ganz brav.
What the...
I heard Kuttenberg surrendered to Sigismund, and his army is running amok here in the area.
They are. These dreckigen Hurensöhne are angry, you see? They thought they would rake in the silver from the Kuttenberg mines. But they couldn't have been more wrong. Sigismund kept all the treasure for himself. Why should he pay them out of his own pocket when the local lords are feeding them?
What? I don't understand.
Dann pass mal auf. As soon as the soldiers began looting the villages around the city, the local nobility quickly decided it's better to pay them Lösegeld.
So that Hungarian bastard is getting rich, while the locals feed his army.
Das trifft den Nagel auf den Kopf. And yet, that carrot-top Schweinehund lets the monks in the Zealots monastery fuss over him while he receives legations from the whole kingdom.
Did Sigismund also attack Suchdol?
Oh yes, as soon as he got here. But my men know what to do. Mit der Hilfe Gottes, we fended him off and forced him to negotiate. Mein Herr Peter, however, had to pay him a fat Lösegeld to leave us in peace. The villagers in the vicinity fared even worse.
What happened?
They raised Mesolas and Opatovitz. There was nothing left but ashes and stones. They haven't been here since then. But who knows what tomorrow may bring. Der Teufel soll Sigismund holen.
I need to top up my supplies. Where could I find some merchants here?
You'd be better off asking the innkeeper Slivka in the village about these things. He knows everyone from far and wide. And that's no surprise, because he makes such good spirits.
How do things work around here? Is there something I should be wary of?
Not really, except for the Sigismund military camp at Opatovitz. And it isn't really all that safe in the raised villages either. These Banditenbanden have settled in there. A bunch of dossers who'll easily cut your throat for a piece of bread. Ah, so God will. These evil times will soon be over.
Do you know by chance how to get into that monastery where Sigismund is staying?
Wie bitte? Hast du den Verstand verloren? You can forget about that. You won't get in there. And listen closely to what I tell you. I don't know what you're planning, but I'll give you some good advice. Leave Sigismund alone. The wheels of justice grind slowly, but surely. You'll see. You'd better be glad you still have your head.
How do I get to Kuttenberg from here?
Das ist nicht schwer. You just take the main road to the east, and then you'll see the church towers. Or you can also follow your nose. There's smoke rising from the Kuttenberg smelters day and night. The smell is hell, but it's worth it for the silver. In fact, the silver's why Kuttenberg is the second richest city in the kingdom, right after Prague.
Where did you say Sigismund's army is camped?
Unfortunately, they're close. They've occupied the hill above the main road near Kuttenberg, so no one could just come and help the town. When you walk out of the village and look toward Opatowitz, you should see the flags flying above their camp. Pah! That Hungarian camp is like a boil. It's just festering and we just can't get rid of it.
I'd like to learn something.
What is this about?
Watch and learn.
I'd like to improve my swordplay.
Fine, but it'll take some time.
Have a kind master, hey, Doggy?
I'd like to learn something.
What is this about?
Tell me how to fight better with a halberd.
Fine, but it'll take some time.
You silly doggy.
I'd like to learn something.
What are you interested in?
I'd like to be more skillful with an axe.
Fine, but it'll take some time.
How's it going, Captain? Do you have any work for me?
Sehr interessant. I thought you were helping Zizka.
What of it? So is there anything you need a hand with, Frenzel?
Was soll ich sagen? After our Lord paid ransom for us to the Chaiskel Cherton, there is peace here. Fortunately. Aber warte. Actually, there is one thing. You ought to have a word with our huntsman Dobrosch. He might have eine Aufgabe for you. See, someone poached a white roebuck in his territory the other day.
A white roebuck? That's a rare sight.
Ja, and Dobrosch takes it as a personal offense. So go easy on him, hörst du?
What exactly do you mean by that?
Just ask him if there's anything new happening in his territory, and wait until he tells you himself. Oh, ja. He really doted on that creature. Und das war alles. I don't have anything else.
All right, thank you. I'll ask around.
Viel Erfolg, Heinrich.
Henry. Where's Captain Zizka?
He got held up.
I received a report that von Bergov's banner is flying in the camp of my dear cousin Sigismund, so I assume the negotiations at Trosky didn't go too smoothly.
No, sir. I don't have good news for you, I'm afraid.
Well, good or bad, I'm sure you have plenty to report. So what happened with von Bergov at Trosky?
Bergov had no interest in our message. By the time we finally arrived at Trosky, he'd already long since made a deal with Sigismund. But of course he didn't tell Sir Hans and me anything. And on top of that, he used us to do his dirty work. Everything went to hell in the end, and we ended up in a dungeon. Or at least I did. They took Lord Capon away. In fact, that's why we're here. We were following von Bergov's trail.
So I've heard. But I'd be interested to know the details. It's been some time since our meeting in Ratai, and now you appear here by the side of a quite unexpected guest.
Well, it wasn't the best circumstances to meet Zizka in. They sent him to the Trosky region to cause problems, and our paths happened to cross. We crossed swords. I can only thank God we didn't kill each other.
And who was giving Zizka orders? Do you know?
I think it's some Jan Sokol of Lamberg.
That would make sense. He was always quite pig-headed.
Forgive me, my lord, but how is it possible you don't know? Aren't you all on the same side?
Bear in mind that my dear cousin, His Majesty King Wenceslas, has many supporters, and each of them has their own ideas about how to defend him.
I understand. It seems complicated.
On the contrary, it's all quite simple. If I could get them all together in one banquet hall, give them their fill of wine and venison, they'd come to an agreement on the spot. Let's move on. I heard something about a pillory and poaching. What in God's name did you and Sir Hans get up to?
Things went wrong right from the beginning. We were ambushed, and we lost the letter. Lord Capon and I were lucky to get out of it alive. But no one at Trosky believed that we were messengers.
Von Berghoff refused to aid a nobleman in need. That seems pretty low for a man of his stature.
Well, to be honest, Lord Capon didn't really look much like a nobleman. We were ambushed while bathing in a pond, and then we fled through the woods. So we really looked like a pair of beggars.
Ah, that must have been a peculiar feeling for Lord Capon.
Not only for him, sir. I may be just a bastard, but that doesn't mean I'm used to begging at castle gates dressed in rags.
Believe me, I didn't intend in the least to make such an insinuation. In any case, are you sure there's nothing else you want to tell me?
Well, you should probably know that Istvan Toth was working for von Berghoff.
Who's he?
One of Sigismund's cronies. He was causing havoc around Ratai.
Ah, yes. Hanush and Radzig mentioned some such person. They even foolishly let him go.
They had to. They gave him their word.
Yes. Well, it's actually quite heartening that some people still have such naive ideas about the world.
Well, no one let him go this time. He's dead.
Very good. From what I've heard, he was a bandit and a cutthroat. There should be no dealings with his ilk.
Isn't Zizka a bandit too, though?
Zizka is loyal to Wenceslas. So he's no bandit or cutthroat, but a faithful servant of our king, carrying out resistance against his enemies. But let's move on. Is there anything else you'd like to tell me?
That's all that happened, sir.
Truly. My court messenger and bearer of tidings, both good and bad, John of Liechtenstein, has mysteriously gone silent. So every piece of information I get now is precious. By the way, you said you were in von Berghoff's dungeon, and I can imagine how they treated you there. Tell me, did you reveal anything?
Well, they asked questions, yes. But I was counting on that, and prepared myself for it.
How did you prepare yourself?
Well, I mainly told them things I was pretty sure von Berghoff already knew. Like that Radzig is a supporter of Wenceslas, that you and I met in Ratai.
And was he satisfied with that?
Well, I don't think he expected anything more from a simple servant of Lord Capon.
That's true. I must say, Henry, you've pleasantly surprised me. You can keep a cool head as the world around you burns. You'll make it far. Thank you for the news. You're free to go if you want. But I would be glad if you stayed at the fortress. As soon as it's possible, you can join a legation heading for Rattay. I'm sure you already want to go home.
What? Go home? I can't. I have to rescue Sir Hans. I made a promise I'd protect him.
A noble thought. But you mustn't worry about Lord Capon. I'm sure von Berghoff has him trapped in a gilded cage.
But I made a promise, sir.
I understand, but honestly, Lord Capon is now safer than you or I. The most sensible course now is to wait for the ransom demand.
Margrave.
Ah, Captain Zizka. Henry and I were just discussing Lord Capon.
Yeah, the Margrave thinks he's in no danger, and we should wait for a ransom demand.
As one does.
I wanted to talk to you about something else. I suppose you're wondering why your friend Hinnek, also known as the Dried Devil, isn't here?
Oh, there's plenty of gossip going on around the fortress. You and Pisek refused to grant him asylum.
Asylum is for those in distress, Captain. Hinnek came to burn and pillage. I have quite different plans.
Oh. And what might those be, Margrave? Sitting and talking while King Wenceslas rots in a dungeon. What would I expect? Not so long ago, you were conspiring with Sigismund against Prokop, your own brother!
It would be futile trying to explain to you the intricacies of the Luxembourg's dynastic politics. Let me just explain that that was what was called for in the situation. But I assure you that I am now acting in the best interests of this country and of King Wenceslas.
You're acting first and foremost in your own interests. Everyone knows that.
Strong words coming from a man who earns his bread by killing merchants on the road. No offense intended. I applaud your art. The pen is mightier than the sword, but there are times when it's vice versa. Enter!
All ready to leave now, sir?
Good. It's high time. I expect the captain was about to leave anyway. Are you not?
With pleasure.
And you, Henry?
Me? Well, sir, I made a promise.
I understand. I won't attempt to keep you here by force. But bear in mind, I have concluded a very fragile truce with Sigismund, which gives us time to get ready. And if anyone should disrupt my plans with headstrong acts of violence, there will be consequences. Grave consequences. I consider this matter closed. Farewell and good luck.
I get the feeling Yopes didn't make a great impression on you. Are we leaving?
Yeah. And Henry's going with us.
Wait, you'll help me find Capon?
Sure. But we'll need people for that. And information. Catherine, I've got a job for you.
Yes?
Go to Kuttenberg. Find out what happened to Liechtenstein. If anyone knows what's going on in this godforsaken country, it'll be him. In the meantime, we'll go and find Dry Devil and his band.
Good luck. I'd go all the way to Rome to spy if it kept me away from the devil.
Let's go.